Welcome to Solo Shot First, and today we are going to be having a look at the figure of Stass Allie. I believe that is how it is pronounced, from Star Wars The Legacy Collection, and this is BD number 23. Now, I always quite like these. I think I mentioned it before when I think I've done the odd Legacy Collection review. I quite like that the card back is sort of made out of that sort of stormtrooper sort of helmet, and obviously what you do have with a lot of these Legacy Collection figures, it is quite a shame really, because there's some of these certainly should have been in part of the vintage collection. I mean, in terms of articulation and things like that we've seen in the past, some of these figures have got absolutely fantastic articulation and really deserve to be in the vintage collection. But you know, it wasn't to be. Will we possibly see characters and figures like this in the vintage collection in future? Who's to know? Possibly not, I would sort of probably say on this. But what's not to like about obviously sort of picking up this particular figure? Certainly, it's a Jedi. I believe that Stass Allie is. I think is sort of a force sensitive. I think it's called a Tholothian female. I believe that's how it's pronounced. If I'm wrong, please, anybody watching, correct me on this. But a nice looking front of this card. So let's have a look at the back, because it does give a little bit more detail on the actual character on the back of the card. So as you can see, obviously on the back of the card, it does say exactly what it says on the front. This is Stass Allie, BD 23. It says, a skilled warrior, political advisor and healer, Stass Allie serves on the Jedi Council after a cousin and former master, Articulation, is killed by General Grievous. She's leading a mop-up operation on the planet of Slukamai when Order 66 is issued. And I think you probably just do see this character get wiped out and shot, obviously at the back end of the film there. But on the back of this card, it's really nice. Obviously, you get that extra droid factory, the collect parts to obviously build these individual droids. I've never owned enough of these really to actually sort of complete any of these droids. And then you also obviously get on the back the, I suppose essentially you can class this as the wave of figures that came with that. I'm not going to go through all of those. If you want to have a look at that, you can pause the video and have a look at that. So we'll go back at the front of the card. As I said, really nice the way these cards designed. Obviously, of course, not as nice as the vintage collection in any way, shape, or form, in my humble opinion. But they do look good. Now, the actual figure inside the packaging, I'm just having a quick look at it, obviously now as I run through this. It does look really good. And then obviously on the left-hand side of this card, you do actually have an image. I don't know whether that's a photo or actually just an artist impression. I've got to be honest. If I bring that in so you can have a look, I think it might be a photo, but I'm not 100% sure. Really difficult to tell. But the figure inside the actual bubble looks really nice. So all we now need to do, I suppose, is get this figure out of the packaging, and we'll have a look at it in a bit more detail. Okay, so here we have just opened this figure out of the packaging. Now, I've tried to get it on this spinner. And it is going incredibly slowly. I don't know what to do about this. I've been trying to get this in the light, but I think it's just because of the nature of where we are in the UK at the moment, with it being quite gloomy outside. I'm actually filming obviously with this light on, so apologies obviously if there's going to be any glare or reflection. It is spinning very slowly, but that's not a bad thing. So I suppose you can get a proper look at the figure itself as it spins round. The sort of first impressions that I would say with this figure out of the packaging, it does look really nice. I think this has now actually stopped. Yeah, so let's go back to the old-fashioned way. Okay, so let's have a look at it from the front. I've just obviously got that. I haven't removed the, as you can see, the taped up hand there with the lightsaber in. We'll get that out in a minute. But some nice attention to detail on the face here. Really nice looking head sculpt on this figure. Little bit like a bit of dirt and grime. So really nice there. Really good. Very impressed with that head sculpt. Nice lightsaber. The one thing that I would say, and I mentioned this actually in the, I think one of my last videos with these sort of soft good capes. I do really like the soft soft good capes, but I just think they, you know, again, you can see here, I'm just not convinced that these sort of sit or hang right. And I mentioned in the previous video, certainly about this sort of back piece here, like where you've got around the back of their heads, it just never seems to sit right. But other than that, yeah, I mean, that's a minor gripe. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you do have these capes and you can all tell that they're Jedi. Let's get this cape off the figure and let's have a look at that. Okay, so that here we've got the figure, obviously, without the soft good robes on. And I've got to say, this is a really nice looking figure. Really nice looking figure. I mean, in terms of the articulation, obviously, it's got very good articulation. It's articulated at the head. You've got articulation at the shoulders, at the elbows, and just a swivel on the wrist. You do have articulation with a swivel in the waist there. There is articulation in the legs, although they are somewhat restricted because obviously this is hard goods plastic, this. So there's not a lot of like maneuverability there in terms of moving the legs that much. But articulation at the knees and obviously with a swivel at the ankle. So good articulation. I mean, it looks really, really good, actually, I think, this figure without those robes on. Obviously, you can certainly tell this is a Jedi master or part of the Jedi, if you want to call them that. And some really nice detailing, obviously, on the sort of the sort of insides of the Jedi robes, really. So really nice. Really, really impressed with this figure. This really wouldn't take a lot of updating in terms of, you know, if they wanted to remake this figure and put this in the vintage collection. You could argue this should have probably been in there anyway, like a lot of those ones from the Legacy collection. But yeah, really good figure. I mean, I actually managed to get this at a very reasonable price. I don't quite know what these go for really now on the secondary market. I know some of the Legacy collection ones can be very, very expensive, but I got this at a very reasonable price, and I'm very, very pleased because this is a really, really nice figure. So good figure, some decent weathering, good articulation. Not much else to say there other than that. Anyway, listen, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you do, please hit the like button. If you're new to the channel and you want to subscribe, there'll be more videos coming shortly. Got any questions, any comments on this figure, please leave them in the comments section below and I'll come back to you as soon as possible. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.